Karibu sana. In case you're just joining us, this is still Ibru Let's Talk with myself, Kathomi, and the also beautiful Turife. Double Duo Gang. Use it. Use the hashtag, all right? Anyway, we are speaking about a lot of marriages. And I think on this show, especially from the conversations we tend to have on Ask the Girls, most of your questions are very related to marriages and related to childbearing and related to your relationships with your partners being a little wishy-washy. And in most cases, relationships do change a lot, especially after having children. Every single couple I know, enjoy now. Because when the children come, stuff hits the fan. Things hit the fan. And so the bigger question is, why are many people in relationships, especially couples in relationships, why are they unhappy in their marriages after bearing children? And we're talking about relationships where it's not necessarily a marriage, but you have a child with someone as well. You tend to see a huge change in your relationship. As I said, I have many married friends, and all of them tell me the same story. Enjoy now. When the children come, you are screwed. So I'm wondering, why is it a thing? And have you experienced this in your relationship?
Of course, yes, because when it first started, it's just the two of you. It's very lovey-dovey. It's very free. There's a lot of freedom to do anything. You can sleep whenever. You can drink alcohol until morning and then take eye drops and go to work. As in, it's just the two of you. And there's just something beautiful about the two of you just living together. It's so peaceful. You know each other. You know each other very well, okay? And then, boom, there's a new person in this cycle. So now it's just about adjusting to the presence of a whole human being. But unfortunately, sometimes it kind of hits us unexpectedly because different children come to different households, find different dynamics. Sometimes children will bring the best out of your relationship. And you're like, oh, after this child came, the relationship was A1. It was super. We got to know each other better. We got to know each other's triggers, our traumas, our childhood traumas. We got to know who doesn't really like children, and the child is already here. And then other times, the child, or rather the dynamic changing, will bring the worst version of you. And sometimes, okay, a huge percentage of couples actually experience the latter, where the worst version of Q comes out, You've been up since 3 a.m., just with this child doing this. And your partner is just snoring and even turning around and even having the audacity to say, shh, shh, shh. Are you not going to murder that person?
I feel like you might.
Exactly.
I feel like you might.
So that shift in things happening, and then the imbalance in, responsibilities. One person feels, I'm going to work. I'm taking of the house financially. I'm making sure you guys are okay. You have a roof over your head. You have all the snacks you need. And you're thinking, I have been up with this child. I've not slept a wink for 24 hours. How dare you compare us? Once you start comparing the work you're doing and everything and not talking about it, it's just built up resentment. Of course, it's going to be trouble.
So what I'm hearing for the most part is women tend to feel like the biggest grunt of work is usually on them. And it is very true, because especially when you see these videos of new moms, my God, on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, you're just like, well, it's not for me, baby girl. Because my days, they haven't showered in days. You don't even, I saw one video where I laughed because this lady she was just like this, and she's like, something stinks. You're just over here like,
it's you.
Something stinks, and then you go, oh my God, it's me. When's the last time I showered? You start calculating, ilikuwa juzi. No, I remember I took the child out. Oh, I showered last week. Your hair is looking all sorts of a mess. You have not even remembered whether lip gloss exists or it's Vaseline. What are we doing? It is crazy to see the amount of work that women, especially newborn moms who are really young, they tend to have a whole lot going on. I feel like there's an advantage to having African parents, because sometimes they just show up and they refuse to go. I've seen this especially there's an Africanness, basically anyone except like super white people. You tend to see even Cubans, even Philippine people, even like Mexicans, even, East Africans, West Africans. You will see a lot of the time, once you have a shout out of you in whatever way, somebody shows up to your house. In fact, even Nani was talking about it. What's her name? The one who's moved to Nigeria, has a contract with the UK.
Sean Arwa.
Sean Arwa. She mentioned this, that her sister or her mother-in-law showed up to her house for the first couple of weeks, maybe months of her having children. So oftentimes women feel like the grunt of the work, like most of the tasks are yours. You're the one here, you're the one still figuring out what are people eating in this house today. You're the one who wants to go shopping, and you're still patting this child because they're refusing to breastfeed, and now you have to remember, guy, did I give them formula? Is this formula from yesterday or the day before? Did I even wash these things? Am I going to give this child infections? But also, what time is my husband showing up? Because I need to make sure that his clothes are pressed, and he has all the... It's a lot. You start to get really angry really quickly. What's another one?
Just realizing I had it very easy. Anyway. Wow, that's you're describing a horror movie. I'm like,
it's crazy.
I did not experience that. Where did you hear that?
I have seen a lot.
Anyway, you remember how it was just the two of you? You would tour anywhere. Intercourse, of course. Hata mkiangalia tu hivi, unafanya winking. Things come together. But now when a child is in the mix, you unfortunately can't have intercourse as much as you would like to. First of all, there's the 6 weeks grace period you have to give the mom for healing, especially if you had an episiotomy, for you to heal and the threads to come together. But what they don't tell you is, here 6 weeks, haikwangi accurately 6 weeks, because some wounds will take longer to heal. And even after healing, it's just a very different sensation. It's just, and for whatever reason, your libido just goes to the pits because you're so distracted. You want to be there for your child 24/7.
Your hormones are all over the place.
Exactly,
as well.
Your hormones are everywhere. And sex is really not a priority at the time. So you find yourself never in the mood for this thing. And when you're in the mood, you're about to do the things, and it's like sometimes they know. Wow, I'd like to say that. I feel like they know. I feel like children have this thing where they don't want another sibling, so they can sense when a sibling is about to be created and they wake up. But the thing is, just give your partner as much grace as possible. You know, don't complain. Don't be out here being angry at your wife or your girlfriend just because they're not in the mood for doing that. And you know very well the things they're dealing with. Instead, help them out. Me, I am much more inclined to do these things if I'm not feeling very burdened by everything around. Boil the bottles. Take care of your child. Don't babysit. It's not a service you're offering. It's not a favor. Take care of your child the same way your wife is taking care of the child. And then maybe things are going to change. You'll see a difference.
Now, I have seen this a lot. There is also that other level of maternal instinct that kicks in, where it's actually called maternal gatekeeping, where for some reason you see your husband holding your child, you're like, the head is supposed to be held like this. You see your husband making formula, you're like, is the water... This water is not hot enough. You need to go.
Let me just do it.
You see your husband trying to change the baby's nappy or diaper. You're like, did you wipe them properly? Do they have burn? Did you check? Have you applied powder? Did you apply? You know, it's like you feel like you're the only person as a mother, as the mother of this child.
Who can do it properly.
I'm a mother. You're the only person who can do it properly, and therefore you are overbearingly intense. And then it becomes one of those things where it's like, okay, fine, if you don't want me to do it, then you do it. And then eventually you're left with all the responsibility of childcare because you feel like you're the only person. It goes so far as some people can't even leave their children with like a nanny, with like a help or even a sister, anyone, because you feel like, why somebody will put my child with their head and then their head will, you know, it's like you're thinking about all these things. And most mothers don't even leave their children for a long time. You see mothers struggling to go back to work because you're like, Kai, that child, whom have I left them with? Are they going to take care of them the way I do? If they start crying and then they get tired of them crying, will they just leave them to cry the whole day? Like, all of these things are going on, so you end up becoming overbearing. It's called maternal gating.
And when you do that, to your partner, imagine me trying to help you out and you're like, you're not doing it properly. You never do it properly. Of course, they're going to feel a bit resentful. You know, why don't you trust me to take care of our child. Like, do you think I would hurt our child? And I remember at some point, you know, the early months, I would do everything. And then I got to some point, I was like, why? Why am I suffering? And then I let go. But as for me, I let go completely. Wow. Me, the other partner would say,
cruise control.
Are you not a father? Hey, here's your offspring. It doesn't even look like me. Can you take care of your offspring? So just please accept the help as it comes, okay? Even if you're feeling, this is my child, they won't do the way, please accept help, especially when it's coming from very genuine people. You know, your mother has stopped by, and let me just carry the child for you. You go take a nap. Take that opportunity. Go and sleep. Your sister comes through, takes care of the child as you go shopping or you go get your nails done. Take the opportunity. Your partner comes home after work and sits in front of the television and starts watching wrestling. Give the child to your partner. Say, wow, this is daddy time, okay? Create daddy time.
Oh, you know? Such amazing ambient music.
It doesn't exist, you know? Create daddy time. As soon as the shoes are off, he washes his hands, he sits down like, wow, daddy time. And then you can retire. You take a shower, you eat very well, and then you fall asleep. You'll wake up in the morning, because the child is in safe hands.
Yeah.
Is he not like half the DNA?
He is.
You know, so why are you feeling the need? I'm the mother, I have to be the one up all night.
No.
You won't get a badge.
Leave it.
Let the other person suffer.
There's really no reward for hard work than hard work. The reward for hard work is more hard work. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Okay, I think another way of looking at it is, how do you then mitigate all these things? We've already seen that there are issues here. How do you mitigate them? We've seen that the biggest conversation here is a responsibility and who bears what responsibility. Of course, you've had your new baby, there's a lot going on, but let's not be so unfair as to believe that I am feeding the child, yeah, and then immediately I'm done feeding the child, I go and wash this child, I am still going to have to finish that, come do the dishes.
It doesn't make
I'm
sense.
still going to come finish that, go and clean up the house and sort out the laundry. You know, it's very important for you to split responsibilities. Let it not be very one-sided, because again, we are all human. We all have the same capacities for pain, for tolerance. So why would you assume that someone else has a bigger ability simply because they bore your child? First of all, I was a house, rent-free. Somebody was staying in as a house, as an apartment. Akokwa make compartments in my womb. Yeah, for 9 months, I had to harbor this fugitive. And now you are thinking simply because I was a house and a housekeeper, now I have to continue those responsibilities after? Oh hell no! You better start to do some stuff.
Do your 9 months.
You better do your 9 months.
Do your time.
I feel like after my 9 months, you take over. 9 months, nizako. Mimi, the only thing I want to do is R&R, relax and rest. Okay, that's a bit too far. But
it
still,
actually is not.
It should be though.
I was very clear about that. You know what? After this, I want to relax. Okay.
Yeah, R&R.
I have just done something very traumatic.
Yes.
I was really a princess. I was like, I've been through such a traumatic ordeal. All I want to do now is relax.
Okay? But you speak in a lower, register. Your voice is like, okay, I've done so much.
I really enjoyed that period because, you know.
To take up responsibility. Your register goes lower because you're tired.
I was a princess. I refused suffering. I cannot suffer. And then another thing is prioritizing intimacy and not exactly sex, because intimacy takes many forms. It's in hugging, in cuddling, in, sending that text. Find a way to reconnect with a partner that doesn't necessarily involve sex, because I think sometimes we're always in that quick rush to get back into the groove of things, to get back into having normal, consistent sex, and then over time you feel like it's now a chore. It's one of those responsibilities that I have to do to keep this household happy, and obviously you're going to feel very resentful when it's always a chore to you. You no longer enjoy it. So find a way to...
What are those non-sexual things that this person wants to do?
Watch a movie with your partner, hang out, go for a drink, go